Hi, I'm John Sabella, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer for PubMatic. With PubMatic, buyers and sellers together transact on media more efficiently, effectively, and with transparency. This is critically important in today's dynamic and evolving ecosystem. Today, I'm proud to help bring you the new models and marketplaces topic block. We all participate in a fast evolving industry, and the disruptions of the past year or so have driven us all to help customers, partners, and the industry at large find new models, marketplaces, and paradigms for navigating change. We are at the intersection of crucial points in the industry, and it means that we have a window into what strategies are working, what isn't, and what the path forward may be. Among the upheaval of the last year, the changing winds in addressability and identity have thrown many advertisers for a loop as they prepare for life and media without the third-party cookie. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We're seeing advertisers successfully test their approaches to addressability and find success now. As a technology provider, it's our job to facilitate this experimentation and prepare buyers for the future. Through our Audience Encore product, advertisers can test leading solutions like unique IDs, contextual, and first-party approaches. At the same time, while brands may now be able to reach their target customers across media more effectively, new challenges in actually delivering product are emerging as a result of physical supply chain issues. And while we see programmatic advertising as a way to increase flexibility of media buys across display, video, and CTV inventory, brands need to be thinking about how they can innovate across various aspects of their businesses. And these new models and marketplaces may emerge as viable and even superior solutions. There has never been a better time to have this conversation. We're making a call to action to make sure the entire ecosystem is preparing for the future with a flexible plan. Change is going to happen. If the past few years has taught us anything, it's that there is no status quo. Plan for your plans to change. Test early and often so you are prepared. Look for partners with integrity, transparency, and creativity to solve your problems. Collaboration is a key element of success. So look for partners that work together well to form a seamless integration point for your technology interfaces and drive the outcomes you need. This is about cooperation. We believe the industry cooperation is important to helping buyers, publishers, and technology providers and consumers navigate industry change. It is incumbent upon us all to continue testing and learning, to work towards solutions that have longevity and help future-proof our ecosystem in the open internet. We're hoping that this content block today brings you some insight into the progress being made and what can be done when we can all achieve together. Thanks for having us. I'm joined today by Daniella Harkins, who is SVP Commercial Strategy and Excellence at LiveRamp, the leading data connectivity platform, where she works cross-functionally to drive the structure and transformation of the commercial team towards the next evolution, empowering them to achieve maximum productivity. Daniella, please tell us about what you're working on at LiveRamp and some of your key initiatives with clients regarding data and identity trends.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I always laugh whenever we do an introduction because I feel like it's such a mouthful. So kudos to you for doing that. Yeah, it's interesting. As we were preparing for this, I was thinking about a couple of different areas where we are really focused and doubling down. And the first is, there's about 4 key areas. The first seems pretty straightforward, but it's about making it simpler and making it more clear for clients on how to engage. And when I talk about simplicity and I talk about ease, it's really about creating a unified capability that helps you capture and it helps you connect. It ultimately helps you activate and measure better with data. And I think that's very easy to say at a high level. But if we all understand, I mean, John, you understand the complexity that exists within the tech stack is difficult. In fact, the number one things that clients come and talk to us about is how do I make sense of the tech stack? How do I have the right partners? How do I invest? Do I overinvest? Am I underinvesting? And it's a really complex conversation that we're having. And so a lot of what we're focused on is 1, making it easy and clarifying that. And then 2, focused on LiveRamp's role of really connecting the data and ensuring accuracy of identity through that complexity, because it's oftentimes not clear, right? And as I think about that, thinking about the ease, I'm calling it ease and the simplicity again. So we think about Google and we think about the deprecation of cookies and how can brands and companies partner beyond the cookie and do more there. And so I talk about making it simple and ease, understanding that we live in a really complex environment. And so that's really one. That's big, but it's one. The other piece of it is around data collaboration. That's another really big focus for us. And to me, it's about how can two brands, how can partners, how can a brand and a publisher better connect data in a more systemic, simple, privacy compliant way with the least amount of risk. And so, when I think about data collaboration, the idea of data collaboration is not new, but how we can operationalize it and how we can use it, that is what is transformative. And then I think we talk for a minute, I'll talk about making television accountable and how we can continue to infuse data into the broader bucket of television and increase accountability and measurement around that, which I think is really important. And the fourth pillar that I would call out around the focus is privacy. Privacy by design. How is privacy and how is data ethics integrated into everything that we do? And when we think about product development, when we think about go-to-market, when we think about use cases, and when we think about how to become a trusted advisor with partners like you and with brands, how do we really bring privacy through that entire lens? Because it is going to continue to be a focus. It's going to continue to get more complex. And the more data we have access to, the more things that we can do, and the more questions we should be asking ourselves: is this the right thing to do for our organization? Is it the right thing to do for our consumers? So I guess it's making it simple would be one, right? And ease of use and better connecting through the tech stack, data collaboration, making TV more accountable and measurable, and ultimately weaving privacy through everything.
Well, you're touching on the next question, actually, and I want to just maybe jump right into that. That'll be good. Yeah. I think it's a good segue. In 2020 and 2021, we were beset with disruption across all areas of our industry. How have you been, and how will you in 2022 and 23 work with brands to navigate addressability and identity transitions?
It's interesting. So I've been meeting with clients lately, and we just had a group of clients come together, about 10 clients of ours, and we talked about the disruption that has been going on. And what's interesting is that the first thing is, in talking with all of them, there's disruption brings evolution and brings growth. Yep. And it's painful. And I feel like a lot of people are feeling it, but there's also this idea of a new frontier or new things that we can do kind of together. And I'm going to go back to collaboration for a minute, because I think that is core. And I think it's not just about the ability to collaborate and share data, but it's doing it in a way and in a framework where data doesn't have to move, where there is less risk associated with sharing that data, where there are more insights that can be generated from that data, where that data inherently is more valuable because it can be shared and leveraged in a way that is protected, less risk, right? But increased when you think about insights and the value that it brings. And so when I think about moving forward, you're going to hear me talk about data collaboration a lot. And you're also going to hear me talk about privacy enhancing, or I think the industry talk about privacy enhancing technology, because that, using privacy as its foundation, is ultimately what gets us to federation. It gets us to being able to share data and drive more value and insights out of that data without actually having to make it move. So that's one. I think the other areas, we have got to help our joint customers and marketers across the across the ecosystem better connect with consumers beyond the cookie. I almost want to say like period there, because It is, we know, right? We know that the deprecation of cookies, there was, a stay, let's call it, right? But the reality is, as we think about how do we, we should be thinking about, is there a better way to transact and connect with consumers beyond leveraging a cookie? And I think that is super important. And I think that we also have to continually focus on and question, will federal privacy rules come into the spotlight? And what does that do for us? And I think ultimately we all have to be prepared for that. And so how can we collectively over the next 2 years focus on building scalable, sustainable solutions that meet the needs of our consumers and also protect their rights?
Yeah, so many things are changing and it's all so fast. And I think that's one of the big lessons that we collectively have been really experiencing in the last, call it 2 years, which is that flexibility and that persistence to stick with the prize, which is keeping customers happy, keeping consumers happy.
Right.
But at the same time, changing everything underneath that and making it work correctly is the really big thing.
And consumers are educated, more educated than they've ever been, and they expect the value change. And as we think about Gen Z as an example, we were talking to clients about this yesterday, and it was, we talked about the value exchange that's expected and the anticipation. There are consumers that are willing to give you the data, but they are educated in what they're giving you, and they are also explicit about what they want back. And part of that is they want you to anticipate what it is that they want or need. And so, yeah, I mean, there's more complexity, and consumers are getting, more and more informed about what sharing data means.
Which is a great thing. I mean, it's a very complex industry, and for us, and I love your characterization of simplicity and ease of understanding. And in the case of consumers, that's going to be a key thing. I mean, when you look at the way the laws are being written about that and how you're supposed to now ask for consent, that has to be part of it, meaning it has to be a clear value exchange that's being explained, and what their opt-in is all about is really important. So I think this is really critical issues for the way this all works. So I'm really happy to hear you say that.
It's interesting. I think the value exchange will also bring some clear winners, right, to hand. And then there are going to be those that are going to have to figure out what that value is that they bring to the consumer, right, in exchange for the data. So it's going to be very interesting to watch it play, to continue, right, to watch it play out.
Yeah, this definitely is an evolution. And I think that consumers will learn, we'll all learn how this all works, the interaction between consumer and the technology. We need to understand it, and they need to understand it. It's just continually going up the scale there.
Absolutely.
Shifting gears to partnerships. So what role would a partner like PubMatic should be playing in helping you address addressability challenges with your clients that they may face now and in the future?
Absolutely. It's interesting. I said, earlier, we have to help people connect. We have to help brands connect with consumers beyond the cookie. And that is a kind of mutually beneficial conversation for everyone. And when I think about partners, I think about how can we tighten the integrations? How can we tighten the identity? How can we scale activations? Because I also think the number one question that comes up when we start talking about things that go beyond the cookie is scale. So how can we scale that? And I think that's super important. I think the other piece is really about how do we collaborate more to bring joint solutions to market to help make it easier, right? So I think about, the tightening of the integrations and the identity is super important because you need the accuracy there. You need the scale, but then ultimately making it easy for our customers to be able to select and understand the solutions that are going to drive growth and value to them is imperative in such a complex environment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we want to know how we are performing with our peers and other parts of the technology stack. And really, to do that, we need to have that cooperation and that focus on making the customer happy with all the partners involved. And working with companies like LiveRamp, we feel like we always get that great kind of collaboration to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Well, Danielle, thank you so much for your time today. It was great speaking with you as always, and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, John, thank you so much. I enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate it.